Wayne and Perry.
In 1,000 feet, use the right 2 lanes to keep right.
All right. It is Friday, June 25, 2021. Welcome to Prepare to Go There. Thanks for being on. Thanks for joining. I am excited about this coaching conversation. We're going to have a good time because it is Future Friday. That's a big deal day. It's a fun day. We're going to explain what that means. But if you're watching this, you have jumped into probably the most overlooked and yet underrated coaching conversation that you can find on the internet today. And I know that's my opinion, but I believe it because I know your future needs your focus today. A lot of people, they're not going to go in this direction right now. And we're going to talk about the preparation, the work, the motivation that is going to lead us straight into your future. Big deal day for sure. I'm having so much fun. This really just marks the end of week 2. So very fresh, just getting started. This is hard to find for a reason because I really believe that growth always starts underground. Growth always starts underground. And so putting in the reps and thankful that you get to be a part of this coaching conversation. Maybe you've been on for multiple rounds. Maybe this is your first round. Welcome. Thank you. We're going to get into this. Here's a quote I found for you today. Mark Twain said, "It normally takes me more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech." I like that. You know, it's true. Preparation is important. I think most people don't know how to lead others, the people they care about, the people they're serving, the people they want to influence. They don't know how to lead people into a better future simply because they don't know what it means to lead themselves there first. And if you're here for the first time or meeting for the first time, my name is Peter, and I've been extremely privileged to lead now thousands of people through an entirely new way of life that helps them keep going and keep growing for the rest of their life. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm a guru. It doesn't mean I have all the answers, but I do know the way to get past your past and actually get on with a meaningful life's work, something that is going to be valuable to you in the present and something that is going to have a massive ripple effect for the future. And I think the theme, not just of today, but really the entire coaching journey that we get to go on, is I'm here to help you pioneer your future, to find a new way, a better way that others would want to follow. And this is for a group of friends and leaders alike that want to go the distance and they want to make a difference. And so if that sounds like you, welcome. And we're going to really just focus on the personal side of leadership. How do we lead ourselves? How do we motivate ourselves? How do we keep ourselves in check? And how do we call ourselves higher and call ourselves to action? How do we put in the work when no one's watching? How do we invite others and initiate them instead of waiting for someone else to give us a pat on the back or a kick in the pants? Like, it really can start with us. And if that is true, if it is true that we're not really waiting on a lot of external things, then maybe the future is closer than we ever imagined. Now, this is part of what I call the future frontier. It is the amazing work that we get to pioneer individually and together. And today is cool because it is Future Friday. So glad it is Future Friday. We get to talk about what that means. But first, I want to give you two gifts, not one, but two. The first one is a free fail-proof planning guide. And this is really a step-by-step proven process that's going to help you get over overthinking and power through any analysis paralysis. And it's going to help you get clear so you can get going. And you don't have to have all of the future figured out, because none of us do. And so if that's what you're waiting on, you'll be waiting on things when really things are waiting on you. So don't do that to yourself, and definitely don't do that to the people you care about, the people you're serving, the people you want to influence. You need to get going, but you need a plan. But how do you take a unpredictable future and make it unforgettable? Sometimes the future can be unforgivable, but it really can become unforgettable. So what do? We can't really rely on just one plan. Maybe you had one mental picture, one mental movie, and it was so good that you would replay it all the time, over and over, and you would rehearse the way that one image, that one mental movie of the future was supposed to go, and it just didn't go that way, and you got disappointed or maybe disillusioned, and you don't know how to move forward. See, Eisenhower said it this way: plans are nothing, but planning is everything. So don't throw away all of your excitement, all of your energy, all of your enthusiasm because one plan didn't pan out, but instead stay motivated, stay engaged, stay in the fight, keep going, keep growing, and change your mindset, add on to your skill sets so that way you can find a fail-proof planning process. And that's what this is going to do. It's not just going to give you a how to now do, although I know that's helpful. That can be really good. But this is really designed to help you think through a better decision-making strategy. And so you'll be able to sit down with, maybe your coffee or tea or, something that helps you kind of get in the zone, your alone zone. And there you find a wall, a writer's block. You say, well, what do I do now? Well, insert this guide, the free fail-proof planning guide is going to help you sit down and go step by step through daily planning, but also more high-level goal setting. And so it's very helpful. I'm thankful my wife, Sarah Joy, collaborated with me on this project, and it's very, very good. You can download it instantly and get started on taking action. So that's the first gift. But what about the next one? Well, I want to leave yesterday's live stream up one more day. So now you're not just going to get one replay, you're going to get 2 replays. And I just felt extra good about yesterday. I don't know about today. I think the intro was a little rough. I'm still learning this cool platform. I'm learning how to be present on stage and then be better prepared on the back end. But it's all good. I am excited about going on this learning curve. Man, I'm on a roller skate through this learning curve. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be like Tony Hawk, just doing all kinds of tricks off of this learning curve. But I want you to check out that replay from yesterday. It was called Leading Yourself When No One's Looking. And I just felt extra good about the content. I would love for you to go through it or share it. Get that link to this page, share it with your friends, and let them know about it. Most people don't know how to lead others into a better future simply because they don't know how to lead themselves there first. So how do we really lead ourselves? I believe it looks like a lifestyle of preparation. A lifestyle of preparation. I'm passionate about this. I want to help friends and emerging leaders alike, because I think this is something that matters, and this is something that we can miss. The reason we can miss it is because it's not noticed. Preparation doesn't go by noticed. It gets ignored. It's not really appreciated. It doesn't really have a big value. We value people with talent. We value people with charisma. We are, as a culture, we value people maybe with money or status or power, but do we have the same kind of appreciation for people who have been doing the necessary unnoticed work to get them where they are, or to get them ready for where they need to be? And I am so grateful for the work I've been able to do and the influence that I, have been able to experience. And I listen to so many friends, so many students, so many leaders. And man, you guys inspire me. You're amazing, and what you dream about and what you see possible in the future is amazing. Just despite all of the opposition and the obstacles, you still have this immense sense of hope and mission. And I just want to get behind that. I want to be an aid, an ally in any way that I can for your progress, because I know that you are living purposefully and you want to be thinking more intentionally. And that's so valuable. And so instead of just talking about it while we're sitting, let's talk and walk at the same time. So we'll be clarifying and we'll be developing on the way. And so what is a future Friday? That's a good question. I'm glad you were asking. It's basically time we set aside to put the future back on the front burner. All right? So much of our week is given and taken to other things. Really everything except this important priority, which is where we're going. We're all heading towards the future. It's like a roller coaster ride. You've already been strapped in. You can't go back. You just got to go forward and enjoy the ride. So are we thinking? Are we preparing? Are we learning? Are we growing? Are we working at living forward, thinking forward, moving forward? And so for me, I call it Finish Friday. That's just something, simple, silly I've been doing for a few years. I look forward to Friday. It was the end of the week. And for me, that it wasn't just the finish line, it was the starting point to start thinking about what's next, what's possible, where are we going? And it's had different iterations for sure. It's had different versions for sure. But in this season of my life, Future Friday is an off day for me. And so I use it as a project day. I use it as a day where I can get away, a day where I can get offline, where I can kind of get off limits. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not super rigid about it. Maybe I should be, but it's fine. And I get to focus on the future. And so whether it's a Friday or whether it's a Monday, whether it's another random day, you need time to get your future back on the front burner. You need time to stay fired up about who you're becoming and where you're going and the intentional steps you need to be taking to get there. So the goal is to finish as much as you can in the present so you can focus as much as you want on the future. That's the game. That's how you play the Future Friday game. The goal is to finish as much as you can in the present so you can focus as much as you want on the future. It's a fun game. It's great because the game starts immediately, first day of the week, and I'm already looking at Friday, thinking about Friday, because I don't want anything to rob that time where I can go into the future again, where I can be dreaming, learning, growing, working, trying. Just it might be we'll give some examples of what you could do during your Future Friday later. But I want to focus on that first part. Finish as much as you can in the present. It's good to be present. It's important to be present. You have to go through the present to get to the future. You can only get into your future through the door called today. So today matters. Today is essential, mission critical. But we've got to get through that door so that way we can get into the future again. We can work on the future again. We can lean forward again. And so to do that, I realize that we have responsibilities. We have jobs, relationships. We have maintenance. We have habits. We have unexpected obligations. Fires come up that need to be put out. We just have interests and hobbies, and we We do all kinds of things. But the goal is to finish as much as you can in the present so that you can focus as much as you want on the future. And if you haven't done this first part of finishing, you have to actually finish your work for the week. You have to finish as much as you can. Now, it's not going to be a perfect batting average. You're not going to get it all done all the time, but that's the game. That's the progress that you're working towards. That's the process you need to develop. Because when you can finish all of that work, then you have more and more confidence, more and more freedom to pull away, to get off the grid, so to speak, and to start preparing and to start working on plans and working on these goals that are going to add value to your future. See, there's stuff to do, but it doesn't always benefit the future. It's not, I mean, it's good to eat, but I mean, eating gets me through the day. That's definitely important, but what are you doing that's actually helping you move forward? And vice versa. Many, many times when you're working on the future and the things you do for the sake of a better future, it's not going to feel important in the moment. It's not going to be applauded, I can promise you. People are going to be looking for you. They're going to be texting and emailing and wondering, where are you? What are you up to? I need you. You're not being responsible right now. And there are consequences at times, but it's worth it to be misunderstood. It's worth it to miss out on fun things if you're putting in the work and you're preparing for a better future. It's worth it. And it'll show out in the end. But what I'm talking about is not drop and run. I'm not talking about being irresponsible. I'm talking about thinking ahead and finishing as much as you can in the present, so then you have the confidence and the freedom to work on your future again. Now, you may want to actually tell the people in your life and on your team, hey, I'm off limits. I will be offline. I have, these hours in the morning, this time frame in the afternoon. I'm not available. Some people call it white space, meaning like a whiteboard, where it's just a blank page and you can just draw and doodle whatever you want. That's kind of what this is. Time to think, time to brainstorm, time to learn, grow, try, experiment, time to innovate, time to develop, strategize. That's important. Or you might just literally be working on a project. And we'll get into those examples again. But Future Friday is amazing. If you can't do it on a Friday, no big deal. Just make Momentum Monday or something else. But Finish Friday has worked for me, and I think it makes sense for a lot of other people too. So here's the question. Here's your action for today. When is that time that you put the future back on the front burner? When is that time where you take the future off of the back burner, where it was kind of just simmering? I mean, it was still there. You still knew about it. You still knew about things that you wanted to do. Maybe they're still just dreams, or maybe they are goals that they've been verbalized, but they haven't been actualized. And it's simmering on the back burner. It's there. There's a little action happening, but it's not the focus. It's not getting all of your attention. It definitely isn't getting your time. I mean, you kind of remember it every once in a while, but then it just gets crowded out by all the other details. See, that's okay until you go a week and nothing happened, a month, nothing happened, years, nothing's happened. And what happens is this conversation shows up at inconvenient times. People don't mean to embarrass us. They don't mean to add more emotional angst, but they're interested and they say, hey, so how are you doing? What are you up to? Here's the classic one. What's new? What's new with you? And then you kind of go, I try to have an answer. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Say, oh, nothing, And then we add in these generic things: work, family, church. It's good. Things are good. Doing what I can. I love this one. Can't complain. Can't complain. Here's another one. Day by day. Day by day. And man, gratitude is everything. Gratitude's so important. But so is growing. And they don't have to be exclusive, but man, when someone says, hey, what's new? Like, you want to tell them something. What are you get reminded, you kind of get triggered and you say, oh no, it's like a pop quiz. Oh no, I didn't really prepare for that question. If I'm honest, I haven't been thinking about my roles, my goals. I haven't really taken dreams into the action phase. I need to get back on that. Or here's another one. Maybe you're talking to a friend, you say, hey, what's new with you? You ask them, what's new with you? And then they start talking, and then it starts stirring up all of these pent up passions and exciting dreams and topics. And you're like, man, I wanted to do that. I wanted to do that. And you can start comparing yourself, which is never good. Or you can start complaining. That's not cool. And then you look up, and that's when you kind of get that sore feeling, and you're like, oh, what have I been doing? What have I been doing? It was there the whole time. Your goal was there the whole time. Your project was there the whole time. You had the time. You had the time to save money or invest. You had the time to reach out, to find new relationships. You had the time to do something on, social media or YouTube to make an impact. You had the time. You had the time. But what was going on? All those things they were on the back burner. They're just on the back burner. And a lot of people are waiting on things that are actually waiting on them. So how do we make that shift? Where do we make that change? You have to make time to put the future back on the front burner. So I'm asking you, when's that time? Have you forgotten your future? I have. I have forgotten many times. But that's why I look forward to Fridays, because for me, that's at least one day, one dedicated day. Now, it's not even the whole day. I can't even do it all in a day. But at least it is dedicated time that I can stay focused on who I'm becoming, where I'm going. And it every Friday, every future Friday looks different. I'm going to give you some variations. And I'm not telling you what to do. I just want to give you ideas. So that way, next time a future Friday rolls around, you're not going to be wondering. You're not going to just be winging it. You're going to have an intentional plan that you can implement. how we forget the future is very easy. We keep the future on the back burner, and we don't make intentional time, to put it on the front burner again. So I want to help you remember the future. It sounds kind of paradoxical, but you have to remember what you committed to do. You have to remember what was such a big deal to you in January, or when you were leaving high school, or when you had that life-changing moment all by yourself, and your future felt so big, so real. Remember that. Remember your future. And that's not just, once a year on a mountaintop. It has to be day by day, week by week, choice by choice along the journey. So here are some variations of a Future Friday. These are some different things that I have done, during this time, to keep my future on the front burner. Number one, take a field trip to the future. Oh, I love this. This is so much fun. This is the best. This is where you get to dream. This is where you get to imagine. This is where you can just get creative, get in your alone zone. You may find inspiration from a book, from a podcast, a video, a sermon. But you have got to find reference points for your future. And I love doing this. I love learning, because whenever I read something in a book and it jumps out off the page and it resonates with me, I say, I need to remember that. There was something that was said in this book that excited me. Or when I see someone else, in their grace place, and I maybe not the whole thing. It's not like I'm trying to clone myself or copy someone, but there's something that just resonates. I say, man, I like that. It literally, it could be as simple as, I'll give you an example. I was on YouTube, and I saw someone with a microphone like this, and they were talking at a desk. I said, man, I kind of like that. I don't know what it is, but that picture resonates with me. I can picture myself with a microphone and a desk. And I didn't have a microphone or a desk at the time. But in that short little moment, I was able to take a quick field trip to the future. And you gotta capture those inspirations when you get there. You can do this in deep dives, reading a book. Maybe you're in prayer. But often you get that inspiration, you get those glimpses of what's possible in very quick or short bursts. So you're going to have to find a way to remember or to record what you pick up when you go on these field trips. So I'm a big journaler. I use Evernote, but you got to find something that can help you keep track of all of your ideas and inspirations. And then it'd be really good to figure out a way to organize that. So that way, when you actually go back to try to work on it, it's not at the bottom of a digital heap, but you know how to access it. You know how to use it when it's time to put it to work. So take a field trip to the future. That's so much fun. Sometimes you plan them. Sometimes they just happen. This is metaphorical, but you jump in a time machine and you just say, man, I can imagine that one day. That would be so cool. You need to be doing that a lot, like often. I heard a quote. And it said, people will either live out of their memories or out of their imagination. That's so good. We'll either live out of our memory or our imagination. So don't forget your future. Stay imaginative. Stay curious. Have an appetite for innovation. Keep dreaming. Lean forward. So you're getting all these inputs, you're getting all these impressions, and you're feeling inspired, and that's great, but it's not enough. It's never enough just to be inspired. You have to move into the next phase, which is there are times, there are days, there are weeks when you have to just make time to map out a plan. You got to map it out. You got to like actually, strategize a little bit. And this is so important whenever you feel stressed out. Yesterday in the live stream, which was so good. And that's funny. I don't always compliment myself, but I just felt, I felt that was probably one of the strongest ones I've had this week. And honestly, I gave a lot of content. So maybe that's why. But I said there, whenever you feel stressed, it's time to get a strategy. Because that's why you feel stressed. That's why you feel overwhelmed. It's because you don't really have any clear-cut strategy to get through it, to move past it, to go beyond it. So what are you going to do? You've got to map out a plan to get ahead. You have to map out a plan. That's Future Friday. Man, you're thinking, and it's not just that you're taking things in, but now you're putting things down. You're putting decisions down. You're putting timelines down. You're putting steps down. And I love just, starting with pen and paper and sketching or doodling or mind mapping or whatever that looks like. But I've got to see it on paper on purpose first. And then I can clean it up and organize it and document it digitally. But map out your plans to get ahead. Future Friday. This is really, really helpful when you're just thinking about the new month. Here we are in June, looking at July. Maybe you could be mapping something out for the fall. Man, I think it's totally cool to be mapping out your plan for 2022 right now. Like, do you have plans, real concrete commitments that can live in your calendar so you can keep looking out at them and you can make progress towards them? You want to map out a plan. Another way you could use your Future Friday is to use that time. Maybe it's 30 minutes. Maybe it's 60 minutes. Maybe it's 2 hours. Maybe you're going into like a real deep focus session. You're going to be kind of locking yourself in your alone zone for more than 2 hours. Typically you can go focus pretty hardcore for up to 3 hours or 4 hours. You definitely need to be taking breaks after that. But use that deep work time to focus on one part of a big project. And what you do is you just say, I'm picking one project and I'm going to take apart one step. I'm just going to take one step towards one really big project. It's funny how the big projects don't fit in the week. Sometimes you talk a lot about a big project, but it just feels so big to you. You don't know where to fit it in. It's like, well, I can't do it then or there because I'm waking up and then I'm eating and then I'm working and then I'm in meetings and then I'm processing that and I'm showing up there. I don't really know where this is going to fit. And so then you kind of procrastinate it, and then you have to like throw off, all your scheduling, and you just have to just focus on that one thing the whole time until it's done. But another way to approach it is you could break it down into parts. You could break it down into pieces. And that, that requires you to reverse engineer the plan. You have to kind of start with the big picture, start with the end goal. And then, this is very basic stuff. This is what project managers do all the time. In fact, you could see this if you just YouTube something like project management. But focus on one part and say, man, I'm just going to have fun working. Focus is fun. It is really fun to focus. Just ask anybody who's, a gamer, maybe they're doing video games. Man, they could be focused for a long time. I mean, we like movies, right? We're even this, there's an appetite for this. Having a conversation about preparation, having time to just get fired up again about leading yourself, about taking responsibility, which really empowers you. It actually gives you more confidence. It gives you more courage. It gives you more mobility with your choices, your decisions, your options. Discipline doesn't restrict you. Discipline empowers you, mobilizes you. I mean, when you figure this out, it's going to change. It literally could change your whole life. So this is something else you can do. You may not be able to do all three. You may, I don't know. You may want to do something totally different. That's fine. But when are you putting your future on the front burner? Here's another one, super fun. I got to do this today. It was a blast. Meet up with some future friends. Meet up with some future friends. People that are friends with your future. People that believe in where you're going. People that want to hear what you see. They want to hear about your progress. They want to hear the ups and the downs. They want to go on the journey. Man, if you find a friend like that, hang on to them for dear life. And you have to be that kind of friend for others. So use reciprocation. Listen. Lean forward. Let them share what they're excited about, what they've been learning. Man, you'll find so many golden nuggets and wisdom keys just by being a good listener. And then definitely by asking follow-up questions. Follow-up questions are amazing because you're kind of just, it's kind of like a metal detector. You're letting them talk, but while they're talking, you're filtering. And then all of a sudden they'll say something and it goes, something goes off. And you kind of get this signal. There's, you're picking up something. And what you want to do, you don't want to interrupt them. You don't want to stop their flow because it's so good for them to have a safe space to share their future. But you just want to figure out a way to mentally bookmark it. Maybe you could write it down or you remember it. And then you just take that one keyword or phrase that they shared and you rephrase it. Maybe you say, hey, tell me more about this. You said this. Take me further on that path, on that trail. And then it opens up even more. And you will be so shocked how far you can go. And what's so cool is that a future friend could actually help you with any of these first three. A future friend is someone who is willing to go into the future with you. Man, they want to dream. They want to talk about what's possible. They want to go there. They may help you get strategic. They may help you actually plan it out, map it out. They may actually help you on the project. They may take time out of their schedule and collaborate with you. Man, that would be amazing. Now, if you want this, you got to be this. You got to be that kind of person. You got to be that kind of friend. Sometimes this happens in a serendipitous way, just kind of, sporadically, spontaneously. And those are fun because when you're not expecting it, man, you want to be prepared. Just say yes. Just go for it, But many, many times it's good to initiate. It's very good to initiate. Man, just send a text, send a DM, send a hangout, I don't know if we even do that anymore. Send something, just send the word out and be like, hey, thinking of you. How are you doing? I'd love to connect. How about Friday? I might start getting some text messages or DMs and people say, hey, let me know if you want to have a future Friday That'd be great. I'm down. I'd love to. If I can, I'd love to. But make this a priority, because it really will help you leverage your leadership. Another aspect of this, which is so important, is you're taking time not just to dream about what's possible and not just, work on a project. That's all good. But you've got to take time to work on yourself, to work on your character. And that really just comes with reflection and honesty and humility. Using your past 7 days or the past 30 days as the evidence, so to speak, and you kind of bring that up. And then you can use that as a reference it to something that you value. You need a reference point, and that helps you grow. For me, I look to Jesus. I look to Jesus's life, his lifestyle, his life message, his life pattern. And what's amazing is, because of the gospel and the Christian worldview, he is perfect. And I can quickly see that I'm not. But my imperfection doesn't change his perfection. His perfection changes me. So as I use him as the reference point, his lifestyle, his life message actually, so to speak, rubs off on me. It changes me from the inside out. And it's not something that I have to do. It's something I want to do. And just kind of going on that journey of looking at my character and my life story and my life's work. I just kind of revisit that. So good. You don't have to feel beat up. You can feel built up. And that's an example. And, I would obviously recommend it to anybody, but take time to work on yourself. One of my favorite things I love to do, and this sounds really dorky, but I love just thinking about my rhythms and my routines. I love just kind of going back through them and saying what worked, what didn't work. Sometimes I'll go back through my progress logs, and I'll just kind of see how the week went, day by day, play by play. And I'm just leveling up. I'm just getting 1% better every time, every day. And so these are examples that you can insert, plug and play. They're ready to go. You can have a fun, effective future time, future Friday. You need to do this. Time that you're using to get your potential, your future off of the back burner, put it back on the front burner. Now, those are some ideas, but here's a bonus. If it falls through, and it will fall through, whether it was a Friday or a different day of the week, you said, okay, I want to do it here. I want to get away. I want to get in my alone zone. I want to get creative again. I want to get strategic again. I want to make sure I'm being productive again. I want to level up. I want to get out of maintenance mode. I want to feel more momentum. If all else fails, and you feel totally zapped, and you've got no emotional energy and no motivation and no morale, and you're just like kind of bug-eyed, just kind of sitting there, and you're kind of like twitching, emotionally, mentally, because your focus is so fried because you've been so, pulled and divided in all these different directions. I'm gonna give you a little hack. I'm gonna give you just a little hack. It's just a little treat, gift from me to you. It works every time, every single time. A cluttered mind lives in a cluttered world. So you got to organize. Just get organized again. And literally, you could use this as a trigger. This could be the key that ignites the whole focus time, your whole deep work session. You just come back. Hopefully you're probably already, organized and cleaned up, and you come back to just like a prepared space. But if not, that's okay. There's no shame. There's no shade. I want to give you a help. just organize again. Like before you try to go forward, before you try to create stuff or plan stuff or launch new things, go back. You could do it in your physical space or you could do it in your digital space and just pick up after yourself. Go through things, literally pick something up, look at it, and make a decision. Do I keep this or not? Does this spark joy? Whatever. Like, organize yourself again. And hopefully if you have a working schedule, if you have a good workflow, which I'm super excited about, we're going to be talking about how do you build a workflow? Where it's actually where the work is flowing, where the productivity is flowing. It like your productivity should be more like a workflow than a workout. So how do you get in the flow and how do you keep it going? This is one of those ways. And if you'll just pick something up and just make a choice, keep or toss, where does it go? And you kind of, what I have found is it also can help you reconnect your passion to the work because you're kind of getting pulled back into it and you're saying, oh yeah, that's right. I look at this progress I've already made. So it's super helpful. Just organize. Do it with your files. Do it, with your workspace or your backpack or however your setup is. And that's a bonus. So again, remember the goal for a Finish Friday, if you want to win at this game, the goal is to finish as much as you can in the present so you can focus as much as you want on the future. We do this all the time when we go on vacations. We're going to be gone for a few days. We say, man, I'm going to be out of pocket. I am not going to be available. I do not want to be answering emails. I do not want to be, pulled back in. This is a limited time. This is this is going to be a great opportunity. This is important to me. So what do? You do whatever it takes to get away and not get pulled back in. And that takes work in and of itself just to get to that point. So what if you could do that for stuff other than just vacations? What if you could do that like every day of the week or at least every week? That's what I meant. Every week you could do that. The more you do this, the more you work towards this and you work on this, you'll actually get more time to focus on your future, not less. And that's where you get real leverage. That's where you start feeling momentum. You're not getting pulled back in to the past decisions that are bringing up present tense problems or future tense regrets. You're making good decisions, which lead to better decisions, which lead to better decisions, which leads to better decisions. And so do this, try this, because what if, you started with 30 minutes just to focus on your future again? You pick one of those 4 or 5 things. Maybe you have to start with the bonus. You just have to get organized again because literally you're so cluttered you can't even get clear. And you got to start there, and that's cool. Do it. Maybe you say, man, I just need some input. I need some inspo, and you just want to start scrolling on Pinterest or YouTube or a podcast and just find someone that is going to start being a reference point that can inspire you. And you'll have to find a time to actually like unplug again. But then after that, then you start to map it out. And then you commit to the project, and then you take on one part at a time. And then you start to involve other people. You start to involve friends, and that's amazing. And all the while, you are continuing to work on yourself because when you work on yourself, then things begin to work. So do these things. Stay encouraged. Don't be afraid Don't be afraid of this process. In fact, I love this quote. Corey ten Boom, who is a legend, just a real legend. If you don't know her story, you need to learn more about her. But she said, never be afraid to trust an unknown future to a known God. That's so cool. Guys, I really appreciate you being on this coaching journey with us. I want to invite you, come back, come be a part of this, come learn more, come listen. I'm not saying that everything I drop is just like pure gold, but here is my game. The reason I'm going for the hour and not just like the really fast, popcorn style, popcorn principles, is because it could add, and I'm going to do that for sure, because I understand attention is important. But for people that already know what's going on, they need a journey. They need somebody who's and something that's just going to help them keep going. Just something that's just going to be, so to speak, playing in the background to either keep them encouraged or keep them company, or so they can just continue to relate. And I've learned, if you just listen to a conversation long enough, even if you don't have a voice in it just yet, man, I can't tell you how long I've been listening to some really good, helpful, healthy conversations, and they've just kind of been storing up in me. And so now you can take better action because you've already been on that journey. You have some context, you're making connections, you're finding community, you're creating your own culture. It's valuable. And so I want to invite you unapologetically, and I'm excited about this because I'm here for you. I'm showing up for you. This is day 10. This is amazing. I'm having so much fun. Day 10, showing up for my future friends. And I want you to know that you're going places. If you even knew where you're going to be heading next in your future, like you probably can't even imagine what your life and your leadership could look like in a year from now, or 3 years from now, or 5 years from now, or even longer. Let's just take the football, Hail Mary, just throw it right into the deep zone. Like, it'd be amazing. But I don't want you to get distracted. I don't want you to get discouraged. And I definitely don't want you to get disqualified. And the danger of this whole prepare to go there conversation is that preparation goes unnoticed. And so then we slack and we don't do it. And then we drift and we disconnect and we isolate and we waste time. And we're robbed of our mission, our impact. And we end up procrastinating our joy for a time that never comes, instead of taking action and being fulfilled in the day by day, choice by choice, learning, leading journey. So don't do that, guys. Be a part of a community that is going to keep you encouraged, keep you going, keep you growing. Be a part of a community of emerging leaders that want to lead themselves, lead others, and lead through others. And let's just see where this thing takes us. I think that is all for me. I will be back on Monday. 4 p.m. I got a great question for you. Could you pass the boss test? When you get a compliment, somebody says, man, that person is a boss. Girl boss. Let's go. Man, y'all intimidate me. It's amazing. I'm inspired by y'all. But man, everybody, they want the freedom. They want the influence. They want the power of a boss. But for real, like, to be honest, could you handle being a boss? We're going to find out on Monday. Guys, stay on the journey. Keep it up. Thank you so much. I believe your future frontier is calling. So prepare to go there. See you Monday.
In 1,000 feet, use the right 2 lanes to keep right.
Or you can check the replay out anytime. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Have a great weekend.